Brother Jerry, I know what is right and I want to please the Lord, but I have feelings too.
I looked down into the tear reminds of a 16-year-old girl named Lydia. I first met Lydia a year and a half earlier. She stole the heart of my wife and me. We adopted her, unofficially.
A few months ago, I got a job at a small store at the end of the block. A young man began to hang around me and talk to me. He's really nice and funny. I really like him. Maybe even love him.
Does he go to church?
Sometimes,
Is he saved?
I don't know.
I asked the Lord for the right words to say. Words that will not sound like an adult who had forgotten what it was like to be 16 again. The following Saturday, I sat, talked to her, and told her a not-so-make-believe story.
This is a story told by a pastor to his young friend Lydia about a princess,
A king,
a promise,
and a decision to wait. Stay in the castle.
by Pastor Jerry Ross.
Once upon a time, there was a princess who lived in a beautiful palace overlooking a simple but worldly village.
I lived in the castle with my father, the king. My father doted over me, supplying my every need and most of all my wants. Often late at night, I would gaze out my window high in the castle wall, watching the people far away in the streets below. I would lean towards the gate, straining past the sounds of music and laughter to try and pick out the words of the young people. No sad, lonely sounds ever reached my ears, and I began to believe they must be the happiest people in the entire kingdom. Father, do you think that perhaps I might one evening be allowed to attend one of the festivals of the village? Perhaps just for a short time?
My child, the village below is a worldly place, full of sad people. The sound of merriment that you sometimes hear is their attempt to drown out the emptiness and despair of your lives. It is best that you stay in the castle.
But, Father, how will I ever meet... I mean, someday, I would like to... Oh, Father, you are so good to me, and I do so love it here, but at times I get so lonely.
It is time that I tell you.
Tell me what, Father?
Shortly after you were born, I foresaw the day that you would need someone special. Someone with whom to spend your life. I set out to search, to visit other castles in the kingdom, to find the prince for you. Not just anyone, but that special someone. I have met him. I know who he is.
You've met him? Oh, Father, where does he live? When do I get to meet him?
He lives in the castle. Not unlike this one. He too is being prepared as you are. Come, stand by me, my child. See there? That is the king's highway. When the time is right, he will come on the white steed. You will know him. Never forget that you are a child of the king. You are royalty. The one being prepared for you is also of royal descent. Be patient, prepare, and stay in the castle.
For many months at night, I looked out my window to the highway above, watching and dreaming of the one who would someday come. A year passed, and then another. The dream became harder to envision, and the night sounds of laughter and glee from the village below again began working their way slowly into my thoughts. It became harder to concentrate on my preparation, harder to be patient. One morning, while taking my breakfast,
Delivery for His Royal Highness the King.
I waited for one of my father's servants to answer it, but when none did, I decided to answer it myself.
Hello. I must say the king has hired some lovely kitchen help. A great improvement indeed. When the time is right, he will come. You will know him.
Wait, thank you, but I'm not the kitchen help. I'm the king's daughter.
I had heard that he had a daughter, but was never told how beautiful she was. Do you live here alone with your father?
For now.
Well, you must come to the village some night. The lads will be taken with you. Lots of friends and wonderful parties.
Tell me about the village. For an hour we talked and laughed. Every story of the village life seemed so full of humor and excitement.
You ought to come down to the village this very night. The fall festival begins. It is the very best of the year. Stay in the castle.
I don't believe my father would allow me to attend.
Then sneak out after dark. I'll meet you at the bridge, this side of the village. I'll have a great time. Stay in the castle.
Perhaps, but I can't promise.
I'll see you there.
2 hours later, when I believed that all in the castle were sleeping, I stole out the kitchen door and disappeared into the night.
3 months later.
The village nightlife is more exciting than I'd ever dared imagine. The people, though sometimes crude, laughed and sang and danced and chased each night into dawn. They were living now, not just waiting for a dream that might never come true. Oh, the young man who had met me that first night had treated me, well, like royalty. And then last night, oh, the greatest of all nights of my life, he had proposed. Father, I have something to tell you. I met a young man. I know I shouldn't have gone without your permission, but anyways, we're going to be married right away.
Watch you go each night, wishing you back. This castle has never been a prison. This castle is a decision. I want you to know that if you leave here tonight, things will never be the same again. My love for you will never change, but everything else will. Stay in the castle.
I know that this is what is right for me. For me.
Stay in the castle.
He may not be royalty, but I love him.
Stay in the castle.
I love him!
And with that, she left the castle.
I woke with the dawn, not knowing it was a year to the day since my departure. My back hurt. It's just part of being in my last month of pregnancy. My husband muttered something in his half-drunken state. He had come home only hours before, and we'd argued. Again.
The sound of merriment that you sometimes hear is their attempt to drown out the emptiness and despair of their lives.
There's still a house to clean and chores to do. Our house sat at the edge of town, not far from the bridge where he had waited for me that first night. The king had said was true. Nothing was the same. Far down the road there came a white horse, its rider staying straight and tall. He seemed to be coming straight out of the sun.
When the time is right, he will come on the white steed. You will know him.
I could not make out his features. His stance spoke of honor and character. He reined his mount to a stop outside the castle's front gate. He knocked on the front door. My front door, not that long ago. The king stepped out to greet him, and I watched as they conversed. The noble prince listened carefully, his strong shoulders sagging in disappointment and sadness. He looked toward my village home, his eyes finding me in the shadows. For a moment, we both stared. And then, pointing his mount back toward the sun, he rode away into its brightness.
Be patient. Prepare.
Stay in the castle. Nothing will ever be the same. Thanks, Brother Jerry.
I left her apartment that day, not knowing whether I had help or not. 6 years later, I received an invitation in my mailbox. Found out that we were being invited to a wedding.
Brother Jerry, I met a young man in Bible college. He is planning on being a missionary. We are deeply in love. I stayed in the castle. Lydia.